Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are enjoying this picture of my face on a bull body because I think it is hilarious. Thank you to Charlie for that one. Very exciting moment. I actually think we might see Bitcoin hit 60 grand tonight. We've got sunglasses on just because this light is super freaking bright and it's a little late out and my eyes have been looking at the computer screen because of the BitBoy podcast, and thank you everyone who joined. But I want to go over a few things, and I thought that maybe a little late night with Tio would be a fun way to do it. Now, for those of you that are used to the morning streams, the evening streams are a little bit more, what do they say, cockeyed or something like this? I don't know. I usually get a little bit more frisky with everything I have to say. So in general, what we're going to do is we're going to dive right in. I hope you guys are enjoying this right now. By the way, give us a thumbs up if you like our content. If you haven't yet, subscribe to that channel on our and we're going to take a look at the charts and do that. What do I need to do? I need to press face 2, and now all you should be able to see is the chart. So we drew this, well, we've been following this beautiful accumulation channel. Look at that beautiful SOS, LPS, and here's a secondary SOS. So I actually think that this SOS takes us to 62K. We've had that drawn on there for multiple videos, and there's a reason for it. It's actually this little bump of the VPVR right now. So on the right-hand side of the screen, this wonderful color, Pop-Tart colored, I don't know, volume profile on the side. This shows the amount of buying and selling that's taken place in any particular range. And as you can see, there's a large majority of buying down here at around 30 to 40,000. Another big chunk of buying between 44 to 50,000. And this last little point of resistance is between 53 to 58,000. Now, one of the things that I thought was valuable here was the lesson that's about to take place. There are some really great data points that we can use to our advantage in the learning experience. Right now, we are actually breaking up on declining volume. This is a really bullish moment on the 6-hour time frame, and even on the daily, we're getting the same. So this daily candle right now, which is this candle here, and the amount of supply that's come into the market right now is a very strong indicator that we're going to probably break up to $62,000 to $65,000 within the next 24 to 48 hours. Now, it says Bitcoin is 60 grand. Could be tonight. We maybe could see it tonight. Again, the daily candle. The important part here is this idea of effort versus result. Let me say it one more time. Effort versus result. This is the core thesis of what Wu Wei is focused on, is how do I get as much result for the least amount of effort? And right now, Bitcoin is doing just that. Bitcoin is showing us the amount of result, the price spread to the upside from the amount of effort that is being put into the markets. This is one of the kind of the core concepts and signatures of the Wyckoff experience itself. Now, for those of you who are Wyckoffing, the bottom trading range here, the accumulation range, the SOS, LPS, and SOS that is now, I believe, taken place, is going to actually lead to a secondary LPS. So it's very likely we hit around 64, 65, come back down here, back test 60. People are gonna be like, it's a double top. It was just a dead cat bounce still, and then it's gonna go boom. And it's probably gonna rip us to around 80 grand. So one of the fun things about the market is to remember, it is older than you. It is older than me. I don't care who you are. The market and speculation is older than you. And you have to recognize very simply that no matter how goddamn you think you are, I don't know why I bleeped out smart is the wrong word, how god smart you think you are, if you haven't been as long as alive as the thing that you're betting on or against, you should probably understand that it's found a way to take advantage of the human psyche. And one of the important parts of this kind of Wyckoff experience is exactly that. Speculation has found a way to take part in the human speculation arena. So because of that, these last moments, this whole area like, oh, it's a dead cat bounce, yeah, it's fine, Bitcoin's gonna come back down, the bull market is over, was not the case. This accumulation range here is very beautiful, and right now rising on the daily for this supply signature is also very beautiful to see. Now, we can go over a few fundamentals here, I think, as well, that will be nice to kind of dive into. So I want to do that. And there's going to be a few things we're going to go over in the show tonight, but we're just going to focus on Bitcoin for the moment. I think ultimately creating a thesis that is as simple as and as easy to follow as possible is hugely valuable. So right now, we're looking at Glassnode data. See this little, like, nice little flat area of supply coming onto the market and this massive price move upwards. This is the volatility that we would expect from a market. And what's really interesting is that because the price has actually remained, the supply has remained quite flat, this is actually a strong indicator to me that the composite operator is in control of these markets right now, and they are trying their hardest not to drive the price up and accumulate as much Bitcoin at these lower prices before it could go much higher. Now, again, I think $140,000 for Bitcoin is probably a nice top, but this little bit has always surprised me. And it's always done really interesting things. So it could go to 240, who cares, $300,000. It doesn't really matter. The point here is understanding fundamentally any asset right now is more valuable than the US dollar, right? So here we go. Any asset is more valuable than the US dollar. Now, we all get under the guise like, well, you can use the US dollar to buy stuff. And yes, okay, that makes sense. But that's a bunch of people hallucinating something that has no real value at all. That's a pretty interesting, like, psychological perspective to try to understand. It's like, wait, why is paper worth anything? It's just a piece of paper. It doesn't have any real value. I can trade it for food. Yes. So back to this idea. This flat line to me represents the composite operator. They are in control and they're trying their hardest not to drive the price up. Will they accumulate as much of the supply at this as possible? Once we break up and back down, I bet what you're going to see is all of a sudden a massive chunk of supply gets taken off the market in one big fell swoop. And it will come from this area here. It'll come from this backstop. And this is what those LPS ranges do. They show that last point of supply. And that's what we're seeing on chain and in the technicals. So now, again, I don't think we're going to hit Bitcoin while I'm on the live stream talking tonight, but I think it's important to understand why I think we're going to get there, both fundamentally and technically. It's very, I'll get rid of this here, drag that over, there we go. It's actually not so bad. So this kind of last range here, about 63 to 65, will be very thin. We'll back test, and then I believe we'll be on our way to 80 to 100K into the December to February area here, somewhere like this. Now, what happens into March? I actually kind of hope we have a bear market. For those of you that are fans of the Arcane Bear, you'll know that what I mean by bear market is just another amazing time to accumulate Bitcoin. Bitcoin could come back to 20 grand. I wouldn't even care. Great. More to buy at a cheaper price. This is fantastic. But having a good thesis, having a good follow through ends up yielding massive results. And ultimately, Bitcoin here has performed for so long. It has our favorite deli, Lindy. For those of you that have ever read an Nassim Taleb book, the Lindy effect is kind of this idea that an imperishable item, the longer it has been around, the more likely the longer it is going to be around. Take the chair, for example. The chair has had 3 to 4 legs for a very, very long time, and we can probably estimate into the future that chairs will remain basically the same. The chairs that we're building on the spaceships, or the seats, are basically the same shape. Nothing has changed. And instead of asking ourselves what's going to change, ask ourselves what's not going to change. And Bitcoin is just breaking into that area where we can go, hey, it's probably not going to change. It's going to be around here for another 10 years. And given that, the growth, the total thesis of the devaluation of the dollar, it's a really important asset to get your hands on. Now, as we look at the rest of the market, I think there's something, well, actually, what I want to do, I want to see how you guys are feeling this evening. So we're going to dive in and take a look at a few of your thoughts and questions before we look at other things on the market. Here we go. To the moon. Yes, I like this. That's where I believe as well. Yep, laughing at the Pop-Tart colored VPR. I love the evening streams. Just like riff, freestyle, and rant. It's like jazz or improvisation. Just what words will I come up with next? I don't even know what I'm gonna say next, and that's one of the most exciting parts. I get to discover it too. Nice, good to see everyone's enjoying the ride. Bam, bam. A nice Arcane Bear Live, what a treat. $69,420 Bitcoin. Obviously everybody's favorite price here next. How do you feel about DOT announcement today? I'm not a big fan of DOT. I've placed my bets, Solana and Avalanche. That's where I'm at. I don't believe in DOT. I don't even believe in Ethereum as much as I believe in Avalanche, apparently. That's a different story. Although speaking of random, I want to go over actually a side topic tonight, right, while we're here. So let's start by doing that. Okay, boom. I would like to announce a partnership that we have with TryHards. For those of you that do not yet follow them or do not yet know them, give them a follow, join their Discord. I am hyper bullish on the blockchain video game sector. For those of you that know me, I am not a maxi pad. Nope, it's not my thing. I don't need to put myself in that position. I am extremely excited to always be learning and growing through this process. And I think that the video game blockchain sector is the adoption curve and the on-ramp to the world that we've been missing. The video game sector can bypass a lot of regulations very quickly with NFTs to people that would normally never have access to those things. Now, for instance, yes, El Salvador is giving Bitcoin to every one of their citizens, but every one of their citizens could go on Axes, play a video game if they were working under one of the, like the Guild games or any of the other number of really cool DAOs that are getting into this sector that provide in-game assets for the people that want to play it so that they can make money. We're seeing a workforce grow around blockchain gaming, and they are getting paid in crypto. And whether you like it or not, money should be your choice. If you want to use Ethereum, that's a great choice. If you want to use Avalanche, great choice. Bitcoin, great choice. In fact, they should be so interchangeable that it doesn't make a damn difference, because whatever people believe is valuable, that's what's valuable. And the video game sector has a unique preface to sit in an area where you have people spending hundreds of hours playing video game, thousands of hours playing video games, earning fake gold. And if you start to build the NFT and the gaming sector together, this is a pathway to revenue for an individual in the Philippines. I highly suggest reading the Hype Beast article around Axes if you would like to know more about that. But TryHards is another one of these potential monster games out there. We are big fans of Star Atlas for this reason. We brought you Star Atlas before they were known. Well, I wish we had figured out that gaming was going to be so cool earlier. We were entirely focused on layer ones like Avalanche and Solana from basically August 2020 to the last 2 to 3 months when I started to expand and be more interested in diversifying not my portfolio, but my mindset. I like the video game sector. It's less contentious. There are much fewer maxis here because people want to play. And I think that the metaverse is a great way to do that. So also excited to join the TryHards Metaverse Alliance. If any of you know of any other cool blockchain video games that are out there, let us know. I'd love to see those comments in below. We're now constantly on the lookout for this really cool, fun stuff. And it gets us away from a technical conversation to some degree or another, because I don't know shit about technology. So if you want, and I suggest you might like to, go to tryhards.io. You can check it out, see what they're working on and building. Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. Sign up for the newsletter, follow them on Discord, do all that fun stuff. Their launch is coming up sometime in November. Again, our goal here is to find this stuff before everybody else knows it exists and share that with you. That's what we've been good at pretty consistently. So this is another one of those really fun examples. The next part I wanted to go over had to do with Ethereum. We bought a Metasaurus by Dr. DMT. So Dr. DMT is the guy. Wait, hold on here. Where do I want to go? Oh, wait, hold on. Am I doing this? Did I do this right? Okay, there we go. So I'm not very good at this live streaming thing, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize for that one. So if you, here you want, we'll just quickly scroll through. I didn't get to show you guys this. So this is tryhards.io. We'll go through, check out their trailer here. the play to earn. These are kind of first-person blockchain shooters. Now, again, you have to excuse me. Not only do I not know that much about technology on a tangible layer, because I'm totally conceptual, I actually don't know that much about video games. During our process, we went through a bunch of study. We've talked to esports teams. I never thought I would be on a phone call with an esports team. Like, just not in any way something you could have convinced me 3 years ago would be happening. Like, hey, Tio, you're going to spend like an hour or two chatting with people who play video games. Like, what are you talking about? How does that happen? Well, here's how it happens. I'm learning. And instead of being kind of stuck up about what I think is right, I'm interested in what people find to be valuable. And that's a whole range of things that I don't necessarily find valuable, but that doesn't matter. I'm not right. I know what I like, but what other people like is equally as important and valuable too. So this, I'm learning about video games. So I wanted to say here that I think it's kind of like League of Legends. Is this true? Kind of like League of Legends, where you can participate, choose different characters. I think it's like a capture the flag. League of Legends, a capture the flag type game. So you could be it. I don't want to get too much into it because I'm probably gonna make stuff up. My goal here is to be conceptual and kind of have a visionary stance on what's possible here with these types of ideas. Video games, I guess, is the easiest way to call them. The metaverse is going to be way bigger than I think a lot of people are recognizing. This is a really quick way to large adoption in the sector. Usually a much easier to use UI UX design that comes out of stuff like this as well. So check out TryHards. Keep your eye on them as they grow. There's a few others that we're really interested in as well. And again, if you guys know of any cool blockchain video games that are coming up, let us know. We're now on basically the constant hunt and search. Oh, and while we're at it, because we are big Star Atlas fans, if you haven't yet, which would be silly, look at Star Atlas. Check out the AR and the VR. Actually, I should almost open that up right now. I wonder if I have my phone on. No, I don't. Okay, never mind. The AR and VR that these guys have put together for their NFTs is mind-bending. Again, I really don't think people should underestimate the metaverse. I don't think being an investment maximalist makes any sense. I think being exploratory and having fun really yields the best results. It keeps you entertained. Star Atlas has been really cool. We bought some spaceships the other day, bought some characters. I'm just having a lot of fun, like learning. And these guys did such a great job with their sound, their visual representation, the depth of the AR. So I think we're going to see a lot more really fun stuff like this. The marketplace in Star Atlas running on Solana, super smooth. So this is really exciting to me. I think ultimately that the video game sector is what drives a fairly large scale adoption quite quickly. Again, you've got like, what, 1 billion to 2 billion people playing video games. Companies spending hundreds of millions of dollars on building these dang things. Hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue on an annual basis. Do not underestimate what other people find to be valuable. I guess that is the lesson that I learned. Anyways, great job, Star Atlas. I'm stoked to see this stuff grow. I'm in no rush either. I think that people are like, oh, well, where's the game? We need to recognize that this is part of the game. Axie's had the same kind of flow to its process. When you're building something and you're finding product market fit, it's best to build it with your community, not just build something and then give it to the community and hope it works. There's a really positive strategic advantage to doing things like this if you do it correct, as Star Atlas has been doing it correct. Okay, which brings us to more kind of the NFT topic and sector. We bought a Metasaurus today. Now, again, heads I win, tails I only lose a little. Apparently that for us today meant we spent like $3,000 on, we don't even know what it is yet. I love this sector. It is so much fun. And I also like that this ape here, he has like the Alex Gray and Tool eyes. Yep, shout out to Dr. DMT. I think we have a similar enjoyment of DMT, I would assume, based off the Alex Gray eyes that are on this monkey here. So I'm super excited. I may even buy another one just for fun today. The point of this, though, the NFT and the blockchain gaming sector, I left on the sidelines because I have a hard time interpreting what other people find to be valuable and understanding why it's valuable. It's not my forte, and ultimately I'm not even really capable of understanding why someone finds something valuable other than relating it to my own experience. And this has been one of the most exciting parts of this evolution in my learning process, was to go, hey, I don't know. So instead of pretending I know everything, which is fun, because you often get it right if you follow your intuition, let's pretend other people know everything too, and let's not ignore the signal that they have found. So I think that's a lot of fun to take into account, which brings me to some of the next thoughts here, which means we're going to take a look at a few of my guys' thoughts and questions before we go. Man, these live streams at nighttime are vastly different than the day live streams. If you like the night live streams, you let me know, versus the day live. Tell us which one's your favorite as well. Don't just tell us about your video games. Tell us if you like the Tio's late night live streams, where when I'm tired, I am way more off the cuff, or one could say less professional, or in the morning live streams where I'm like a little bit more just, here's the precise data, here's what we're getting on a specific thing. Anyways, you guys can let me know. Okay, we'll take a look at a few of your guys' thoughts and questions. Be Fair says, you called Avalanche before anyone else, bro. Thank you. I made huge profits. Oh, thank you, Be Fair. I'm so grateful to our tech team. I want to give a shout out to them and the entire Bear family in the private community. Our tech team has actually been watching Avalanche for the last 2.5 years before they even launched. To him, the technology was very noticeable. Again, I did not recognize that. He brought it to me, and I trust him. And it's always great to have people that you trust to help you navigate waters that you're not fully capable of understanding. Like, once he conceptually showed it to me, I'm like, great, let's do it. Heads we win, tails we only lose a little. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed that. And that reminds me, ladies and gentlemen, the disease and the sickness of the early investor comes from a lack of education and over-emotional trading. And the cure for that is joining something like a mastermind. If you have not yet, go to arcanebear.com/private. Yes, that's right. We're going to shill our private group because it has provided so much value for the community as a whole that I must do so. Yes, there's a profitability angle. It's actually much more for skin in the game than it is for revenue for me. But because of that, I'll give you an example before we go. Before we go off here, I'll tell you too, if you sign up and you're not happy for some reason, we'll just give your money back. We don't need your money. We don't need you to be upset because you think you misspent it either. If you can't find alpha there, you're doing something wrong. It has nothing to do with us. So the point of this is, one of the important aspects is to have skin in the game during your learning process. More than revenue for us, because we're doing quite well, thank you. It actually helps you hold accountability to what it is you're trying to do. And if you're trying to learn something or accomplish something, putting skin in the game actually gets you to show up and do the work. When you give things away for free to people, they don't necessarily actualize it because they have no skin in the game. They're just like, oh, well, great, this is free. This is like, I'm not gonna really do anything with it because what value is it to me? So we found a really valuable process where when people have skin in the game, they actualize and do better, right? We have countless data for this one. So for those of you that always had asked why we do that, it was clearly this is the reason why the people that are in the community get a better result. We get a higher level of people that are in the community because each of them have skin in the game to be there, and they're more supportive and more productive, and I appreciate that greatly. So anyways, sign up for the Private Bear Den if you haven't done that. arcanebear.com/private or whatever. You know the drill. I hadn't shilled for us in a little while. And again, remember, no risk. there's no risk. If you join and you're not happy, we'll just give your money back. Like, we don't need it. If you're not happy, like, whoa, go somewhere else. Like, it's your own damn fault, okay? Avalanche, 30 cents to $3. Solana was $1. Nobody else was talking about a lot of this stuff. What our team, what our community is good at is finding cool shit that no one else knows about. Once it's popular and all the big people are talking about it, it's too late. Missed the boat, in my opinion. Now, Bitcoin, you should always be investing in. In the venture capital sector, you're looking for early stage, really early entry into potential, not just moonshots. Like, we want to fly all the way to goddamn Pluto. So anyways, I thought that might be fun for everybody. Yes, okay. Let's see, I want to take a look at a few of your guys' thoughts and questions here before we jump into my next thoughts. The AVAX ecosystem is where I'm heavily, Joe, Bankay Snob, yes, all the early DeFi stuff. Look, right now, if you were to ask me, I only had to pick Ethereum or Avalanche, I would ditch all of my Ethereum. I've been saying that for months. Ethereum, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I don't know jack shit. You have to remember this. This is just like a feeling. Ethereum could only end up being a chain for CryptoPunks, CryptoKitties, and Metasaurus, and Bored Ape Yachts Club in the future. And that could entirely be the use case for Ethereum for all I freaking care. Because unless that little Honda learns how to catch up, Avalanche is a clear lead already. And even though a lot of big companies are trying to learn how to use Ethereum, they can just as easily port over the EVM on Avalanche and have all the security, all the functions that Ethereum is trying to incorporate today instead of who knows when. So remember, the TVL in Avalanche right now is increasing massively. Its money will go where it is best suited for the most yield and high levels of security, and Avalanche is currently offering all of those things. So, okay, next ones. Daryl says, didn't know about Arcane Bear. He paid for Palm Beach. Yeah, sorry about that. Although, like Palm Beach, we do offer a newsletter. Unlike Palm Beach, we actually believe in what we're telling you. We don't just sell you to hope you buy it. That's what Palm Beach does. They actually will sell you both sides. They'll take both sides. They're like, we're bullish, we're bearish. We're going to send two different, half of Palm Beach Confidential is one newsletter. The other one is like Stansberry and Research. Those guys they'll sell you both sides of the coin. They don't give a on what they're telling you in any way, shape, or form. Okay. James McLaughlin says, it was when you were on Wendy's show that I first heard of Avalanche. So yes, thank you to that. Do you still see it moving forward and gaining market cap? Yes, but my interest is over the long term. We are still at the beginning for layer ones, and even what the DeFi sector can do fundamentally. So I think, Alex Kushner, it's great to see you. Nice to have you on the stream there, brother. I think that more importantly than thinking about market cap, what we want to see is long-term adoption in this sector. And there's going to be some really big leading indicators over the coming months and years that will drive that. Now, again, this isn't to say I think Ethereum is going to fail. Ethereum could still be successful, but how is it going to catch up right now is the question I'm really kind of fond of seeing. We're in the middle of the bull market. Ethereum is going to continue to go up. It's not like, oh, Ethereum is going to go down because Avalanche. No, everything is going to go up in the bull market. That's what happens. That's basically how it works. And then things crash, and then pets.com fails. Now, which one of those things is which? I think we're getting clearer and clearer distinctions on, so we'll focus on that. But fundamentally speaking, there's a feeling that Avalanche is much better suited for the enterprise level and larger yield, basically. Okay, let's take a look at a few more guys' thoughts and questions. I can play the guitar tonight. Everyone's asking for music. I will definitely do that. Thank you, guys. Daryl Harris says, when I put skin in the game, everything changed. Nice, I love that. Benjamin says, the Bear Den monthly fees are worth not having a bunch of goons on the Discord alone, actually having meaningful discussions, unlike a lot of free crypto groups. Yes, it really helps separate the wheat from the chaff, I believe, is the old one, the old adage that they say there. We've curated a beautiful community of people that love sunsets, appreciate the rivers and the oceans and mushrooms and books And we want to make sure that that stays at a high level. So I'm glad you guys all feel the same way about our choices to maintain the value within that container. Illuvium, great. I checked out Illuvium. We were a little late to that one. If everyone already knows about it, it means I was late. It doesn't mean you can't make entries in it effectively. It just means I was late. So I was like, damn, I missed that one. Even the blockchain video game sector, like I'm kind of late. Yes. Oh, Mark Carter says, don't put all your eggs in one basket and don't use leverage. Well, Bitcoin's a pretty good leader right now. I think everything else is venture capital, and heads I win, tails I only lose a little. It should be hold on. That is my guiding light and indicator for how I address that sentiment. So I see a few of you guys asking when I'm going back to my jungle cave. And then I see one of you saying that we're building a pool. So there's a pool being built, and because of that, the dogs are all muddy, and because the dogs and the floor and the ground is all muddy, I'm just like, I'm gonna wait until everything is not muddy. And there's nice lidocaine, and anyways, so we're here until that is done. Johnny Apple says, nice to catch you live. So much learning. Good to see you again. Great to see everyone on the live stream tonight. We're gonna dive in, look at a few more charts after this. I just wanted to use this evening time to drop in, touch base with each of you, and share some of the rants and thoughts. What do you think of incoming Pulse Chain? I want to chat with Richard. We had a discovery call. Him and I talked for about an hour together privately. I had a fun time with him. And again, this has actually been doing that was part of my let's break my boundary of trying to understand what's valuable and take more people's perspective. He's clearly an intelligent individual, and I had a fun time talking to him. And I hopefully we'll have a podcast in the future, and then we just chat. There's we ran out of so many different topics that weren't just crypto either. It was fun to chat with him. So I don't really have any thoughts about Pulse Chain. Me and our tech team, we're focused on the things that we can understand in our little area. It doesn't mean we understand everything, right? And I don't need to get everything right. We do great. And so because of that, my interest would be more in Richard than Pulse Chain, effectively. I really don't, not all about making money. It's not like a core driver. I love that. That's amazing. This is a wonderful symptom and benefit and side effect of all the things we get right. But I'm much more interested in the human experience, and that's really a lot of what we're trying to curate through this process. Adam says Tio is underrated. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Alex Kushner says, Tio, some people like Willy Woo are saying these market bear cycles could only last a couple of quarters, then pick up again in Q3 2022. Do you see 4-year cycles coming to an end? I wish I had the older chart of that Bitcoin on log drawn up. I'm going to see if I could find this in the background while we're chatting, and I'm going to mention this mentality here too. One of the fun parts about data is that we don't expect it to always give us, even though history has a kind of a frame. What was Mark Twain's sentiment? I think Mark Twain said, history might not repeat, but it sure does rhyme, or something like this. There seems to be some level of repetition within cyclical patterns of human nature. And more than the bull market of Bitcoin being a function of its own cycle, it's a function of the human psyche. And one of the things that's really unique is we've actually seen other growth curves like this in the human psyche in adoption of technology. And there could very well be a point where we get to an adoption in the Bitcoin technology where the price basically goes parabolic for an extended period of time, balances out, and then we see basically a kind of a new framework where we actually don't have the volatility in Bitcoin that we used to, and therefore the cycles look much different. If you look at the early days of Bitcoin's price, the cycles up and low very noticeable in terms of, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna open up the, something from the private group right now. We're just gonna go over a bunch of data, but there's a long-term chart. Yeah, here they are. Perfect. I'm glad these are so easy to find. Okay, so there's two here. This was actually drawn back in the early parts of 2018, and this is one of the ones that we were using back then as well. This is kind of like a logarithmic growth chart. So here, I think what we're witnessing is more than just the growth of the price of Bitcoin. It's actually the adoption cycle in groups of people, and it's the decline in volatility through that psychological perception. So in the early days, back here in 2011 on the left-hand side of the screen, very volatile. And as we go up, the cycle is not necessarily getting shorter, but it's getting less volatile. So and here's the next one, and this is what I wanted to show Alex based off your question, is in 2011 to 2012, it was a 400-day accumulation cycle. In 2012 to 2013, it was only 225 days of an accumulation cycle. So what I'm mentioning from an accumulation cycle is anything from the previous high, before that high breaks and goes to a new high. In 2011 to 2012, there's only 225 days of the accumulation cycle before that high broke down. So here, in 2013 to 2017, we had approximately a 1,200-day accumulation cycle before the breakout, into a new high, and then into the range here of 2018 to 2020, 1,000 days of accumulation cycle. Now here in 2020, actually I should redraw this because the price has basically broken into this resistance line now. This accumulation cycle was around 200 days. So technically, yes, Alex, we just had an accumulation cycle of 200 days, and it is a much shorter cycle, but it's into the finality of this bull market. So back here in 2012, 2013, you could actually somewhat associate these two market cycles to be one, so that the 400 days and the 225 days were actually a part of each other. And that the first run-up in 2012, which was during the Cypriot collapse, it's the first time we went to $1,000. It's the first time I really understood the value of Bitcoin as free choice money. And then it came back down to 2012, 2013. This area here was, again, very short before the finality of the bull market came in. So I actually, and we've gone over this analog before, was that I think the previous analog of 2013, 2012, 2011 to 2012 is this movement from the previous cycle into a new cycle, an accumulation that lasts a few hundred days, and then into the finality of the cycle, which could be anywhere between 140 and 240,000 days. And then, yes, we likely go into a 2 to 3 year accumulation cycle, because again, it's going to be really hard to separate ourselves from the traditional markets. Traditional markets have been around for a really long time, and it's unlikely that human psyche is going to just all of a sudden break away into Bitcoin. Things like Amazon and Tesla and Google, unless something goes catastrophically wrong with them, and I kind of hope it does, because Google, these are leeches on the planet at this point, parasitic. Although I love YouTube, by the way. I mean, I love you. What a cool tool. Like, there's still some cool tools, but when you just have any corporate hierarchy at that level and things become siloed, doing evil is basically the least of their worries. So what was the point of this? Oh yes, back to Alex's question really quickly. I think that the accumulation cycle is still going to take 2 to 3 years, because I believe it's a human thing, not a Bitcoin thing. So anyways, I hope that helped kind of round out my thoughts on that one for you. It's super funny, this hash head guy. I love people like this, because I don't think they understand how dumb they sound to everybody else around them. It's a fascinating thing to see when you're kind of like the ignorant person in the room and you don't know it. So I was going to go ahead and ban this guy, because we don't need people clogging the chat with nonsense who clearly don't understand what they're talking about. Okay, I do want to go over Avalanche. I want to go just as a kind of an update on price. For those of you, obviously, you would have noticed about the last 2 months we added FTM to our list as well. Yes. So here we go. We're going to load those screens up, and then we'll go from there. Okay, we'll take a look at a few more of you guys' thoughts and questions before we dive in. Alan's comment here. Well, I got skin in the game. I got 2 kids and 1 on the way. Congratulations, Alan. I don't have any children, but from what I understand, it is like the most valuable thing you can do with your time. So congratulations on that one there. Let's take a look at a few more of your guys' thoughts and questions. Michael Ritter says, thinking about joining the Bear Den, is there a limit cap amount of individuals that can join? We haven't hit that yet, whatever it is. So no, we actually have been able to curate a really, really beautiful commentary between people learning and growing there. So I don't know what that limit is, but we haven't hit it yet. It's probably got about 1,000 people in the private group, but everyone's really good at helping one another, and they're in everybody's in different time zones. It seems to work out really well, actually. So I don't know where the top is for the private group. And good question though, made me think, that's for sure. Let's take another thought. Ted Dean says, would you recommend crypto mining or get involved in nodes during crypto winter? No, I would not recommend mining. If you want to make money somehow, there's a shit ton of ways to make money on the internet. I don't think mining is an intelligent one for the average person. What do you have for new traders in this bull cycle? Don't be a trader because you're doing it wrong. You should be an investor. You're going to lose more money than you will make. 99% of those people, that's what happens. I had a good quote the other day. I'm going to quote myself. Investing is trading dollars for assets, and trading is trading assets for dollars. If we know that the Federal Reserve is printing enormous amounts of capital, degrading the dollar, why would you want to trade assets for dollars? You want to trade your dollars for assets. Look at Michael Saylor. Buy, 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 buy. That's essentially the thesis you want to follow. Don't play like a little fish, play like a big fish, and then you become a big fish. If you play like a little fish, trying to get like a big fish, you're going to become a smaller fish because the big fish eats you along the way. That's what happens. I don't suggest trading to the advanced. Yes, there's times when you can play around. I like playing. I can put some skin in the game. I don't mind around. It's like going on a roller coaster ride. But for you, if you're trying to make money, it's definitely not a good way to go. You could you could just go be a taxi driver, make small investments into a good thesis, and do way better than any trader. You could blow the world's best. Well, not the world's best. You got Jim Simmons up there as one of the world's best. Can't take him out. I'd be very hard pressed to do that. But 99% of all the other people who fail during that process easily blow them out of the water. It's hard to do a 250x, but Matic, Fetch, Seller, One, Star Atlas, we got 100x's across the board in our thesis. Let's see. Yeah, it's really funny to see people's thesis here who you can tell that they're failing because they sound upset. If you sound upset in the chat, is it because you're failing and you're doing something wrong? You should start your morning with meditation, and you should really not think you know what you're talking about, because it's clearly the case. Mr. Crypto Professional is definitely one of those people who needs to spend more time meditating. Because I don't think he knows what he's talking about. Now, heads I win, tails I only lose a little is a fundamental. It's probably one of the best quotes. If you've never read Dan Dow, go read Dan Dow. Understanding thesis from people who have made hundreds of millions and billions of dollars, whereas Crypto Professional here clearly hasn't. I would ignore them and focus on the people who have actually done that already, right? They clearly figured something out. One of the fun things I liked about Warren Buffett too is he's got a very similar sentiment, although he words it different. He's like, this is how the ordinary achieve the extraordinary. You're gonna get it wrong sometimes. That's okay. But when and you suck at life, I don't care how much money you have, you still suck. So ultimately, that doesn't change anything, right? Where does that come from then? What makes something or you valuable? That's what I'm much more interested in. So how you counteract that is by being playful in any market and understanding heads I win, tails I only lose a little. Well, guess what? If you had $1,000, let's say $5,000, and you put $5,000 in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, Avalanche, and Matic, right? Well, who performed the best? Matic. Cardano did really well too. Now, Cardano could totally fail in the future. Fair. But that's venture capital. We're making calculated, low risk, high reward investments. If you don't understand that, it's because you don't understand a fair amount about how the thesis works. He says, crypto professional is definitely not a professional. He says, like you've made a lot, bro, you live in a bunker. Dude, that's... You just don't know who I am, clearly. That's funny. And it shows how conceited you think you are. It's pretty ridiculous. So anyways, people like that, you know what we're going to do? We can just go and ban them from the channel because we don't need useless commentary in the chats. Bam. There we go. See how easy that was? Crypto Knight says, Cardano yielded me over 650 grand. Congratulations. It sounds like you took a heads I win, tails I only lose a little. Really, really important to understand that function. I cannot stress it enough. That mantra of understanding asymmetry is like, you know you're going to get some wrong in venture capital. Like, go look at the podcast I did with David Hornick. Guys made like billions of dollars doing exactly this. How you win that game is about a function of mindset, being interested, learning, growing, participating, and understanding that, yeah, you're going to get some wrong. You're going to fail along the way, and to embrace that. Because if you don't, you just have no room to get anything right. Or you end up sounding like this crypto pro guy who's just a jackass. And if you're an ass, I don't care how much money you have, you're an ass. It sucks. Go away. Out of here. Go watch something else. Positive energy only. Yeah, well, it's not positive. We want to be critical too, right? Like, it's good to see critical thinking. Like, yes, look, we've said many times, any of these can fail. That's the whole point of understanding venture capital. High reward, low risk. $1,000 in any one of those yielded years of salary if you were smart about it. And Bitcoin was the least positive performer, but actually the most reliable. So depends how you want to look at the game. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with the bear cave. I don't know what's wrong with the bunker. If you ever lived in a third world country and you have capital, you want somewhere pretty safe and secure. I'm staying in the city right now. Normally I have a jungle bear cave that has an armed guard and a guard tower at the front gate, followed by my second gate. Anyways, maybe I shouldn't be living in this. I've been looking at other countries, been thinking about moving, having maybe a second home somewhere. We'll see how that goes. What do you think of the Polis DAO? I'm super stoked on the video game and blockchain sector. Very, very big on that one. Tio, can you speak about your NFT thesis? I went over that a bunch in the beginning, and I don't want to talk too much about it because it'd be a waste of. If you'd like to, it's in the first 20 minutes. I jump in. Hopefully, we'll have some chapters in this video later on, and we'll share from there. How do you feel about Ronin Games? I don't know who that is yet. If you have some links, drop in the chat. I would love to check that out. See, all y'all like the bunker. I like the bunker too. The lighting in here is amazing. This cool little terrarium in here. I got a beautiful view of the city. I don't know what this guy's talking about. Anyways, that's why I just get rid of him. just buy. I'm so glad. See, I'm hugely free speech, but if you come to my house and talk shit, I'm just going to throw you out. Don't need your free speech does not apply on my private property. Just bye. I've actually thrown people out of my house before. We were having a big party, like an ecstatic dance. This guy came over all drunk, was flirting, like trying to flirt with the girls, and clearly the girl didn't want anything to do with the guy. I almost threw him off the balcony. People, I like Bitboy today. He's like, he's like hippie. I'm like, nah, hold on. The difference between me and the hippie is I would throw someone off the balcony if I don't want them here. I will fight for what I believe in. So it's not about totally positive behavior necessarily either. Like I'm a fan of like being like fighting for stuff to some degree. Like, anyways, but in the proper context. This area here is my playful area. I like experimenting with investing. This isn't a place where I come to fight or like, oh, I know what I'm talking about better than anybody else because I'm a professional. No, I don't. Actually, I don't know. I consistently say that. We prepare for failure and we have success. Anyways, let's see more thoughts here. Great to see everyone. Bunker's dope. Love the bunker. Can you share your profit-taking strategy with the audience? When Bitcoin hit around 60 grand, I took enough capital off to last for the next 3 to 5 years of the way I like to live my life by going to ice baths and meditations and dances, etc. So that was my profit-taking strategy. It's already done. The rest of the assets, there's no strategy, just more assets. I want more of them. So now it's actually been about reaccumulating more of the other assets I'm interested in. Generally, the earlier the better, and specifically in the blockchain video game sector because it looks the most interesting to me at this point. Let's see. Fighting for freedom, yeah, that was the exact, you felt my vibe on that one. I hope there's a pool. Well, there's actually going to be. We're building that right now. So he'd be lucky. Before, in the earlier days, he wouldn't have ended up so lucky. The fighting bear. Yes, I know. I wanted to express that because one of the things I think is that people think just because I like nature and meditation is that if you give me shit, I'm not going to throw it right back at you. It's not the case. If you throw air like that at me, I'm going to throw it right back at you, dumb face. I'm not going to take your crap. It's not worth it. And in fact, I'll just ban you, kick you off the channel because you can go throw your crap somewhere else. It's not useful. Anyways, let's see. Best way to success is a string of failures. It's definitely a great way to learn lessons. Waiting for Matic to blow the top real soon. I'm not as bullish on Matic as I was on Matic 2018, 2019, when it was in every single one of the newsletters that we produced. Now I'm a bit less sure because Avalanche looks super cool. I'm like, well, there's Avalanche. What do we need Matic for? Room for both in this space. Great question. Is there room for both Matic and Avalanche in space? Yes, I think so. But at the end of the day, what you usually end up seeing is that as the space grows, it becomes less and less likely that's the case because it's easier for people just to use one thing. Now, interoperability for blockchains, that's a really big question that I don't know a whole lot about because I'm not a technical person, but I believe that you should be able to use whatever you want. You should be able to use the bear token to buy stuff at Amazon. That'd be amazing. I think currency and money shouldn't be fiat. It shouldn't be forced into circulation by the government. I think it should be freely chosen by the people and the individuals who want to use it. So that could be anything. Adam, I see your question. I'm not going to answer it because I don't want to get kicked off YouTube, but you're correct. And it is very worrying. We've had some private chats in the background about how we will deal with it with lawyers. And I'm really rooting the people here in Costa Rica to, if not, we'll just probably be that second home will be coming sooner than I thought. Michael Fernandez, ladies and gentlemen, I love his stuff. I actually haven't seen the other comments that he was leaving. Yes, I'm not even going to talk about that comment that you guys are leaving, and that is currently the news that's on the table. You get kicked off YouTube for saying words like that. And no, Michael, you're an amazing artist. I've never, yeah, keep it up. Do you have any favorite resources to find upcoming investments? No, we have a great team. That's our resource is the network of people that I have the pleasure and privilege of communicating with. Yeah. Jay Anthony says, thanks for the stream. Any thoughts on GRT? They are working on stuff kind of like Link. The Oracle sector, I don't necessarily fully grasp. I do understand how it's valuable. What that looks like in the future, though, I'm not technically minded enough to know. But basically, that would be a counter bet to Link, from what I understand. Link's taken a large amount of market share already. I'm not sure. That's my thoughts. I'm not sure. Heads I win, tails I only lose a little. Okay, let's see. Can you please talk about Phantom? Yes, in the private group, we had been talking about Phantom for the last 2 months. We added it to the radar. We got in a little late because I kind of fumbled the ball. I knew it had some positive momentum behind it, but I had some conviction for 1 inch just to show a thesis, and I kind of ended up shooting myself in the foot, sort of, only because it didn't give me that extra space to then lean into the other thing. So I really think, to some degree, the idea behind Wu Wei is also not to try to do too much, because there's only a few good things you need to really do every year to really do well. So it's not about a numbers game necessarily. It's about finding the things that you can be really confident about and then lean into that shit. I see a few questions about HBAR. I have no thoughts about it. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it does. It's not on our list. It's not on things I'm watching. That's the best I can do for you right now. Adam says, best wishes. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's a weird time here. Hey, Arcane Bear, do you look at macroeconomics and how the assets all play with each other? What is coming for the world? Yes. My thesis is this is the first ever market melt up. That because of the degradation of the dollar, you're going to basically see maybe a decade longer bull market with a reaccumulation range in the middle. We had, here, I'll show you this thesis. This is actually a great way to go to our charts. This is a really good question, and I have what I believe to be a good answer. Now, I could be wrong. I don't know how many people go out of their way to tell you that, but people can be wrong. Shouldn't trust them. I want you to do your own homework and your own due diligence. This is the thesis I've had since 2016. Since 2016, I have... Ooh, look at... You know what's really nice about what we're seeing right now? Bitcoin's going up and the S&P 500 has been going down. But we need a much longer chart to get to my thesis here. Our macro terminology is going to take at least on the month or the week basis. There it is. Okay. So for those of you, again, that are big fans of the Arcane Bear, you'll know that we like the Wyckoff trading methodology. So we just finished a 20+ year accumulation cycle. So when you have a 6,392 day accumulation cycle, we've only been in the bull market for about 2,900 days. We probably have around another 3,000 days to go, which means at the very least, in my opinion, we have until 2027 for the bull market to continue in the S&P 500. Now, the downside here is that this bull market is basically bullshit. Now, the reason it's bullshit, I'm just going to keep swearing now. I can't keep blocking myself out here. It's too late. The reason why the bull market is bullshit is because the Federal Reserve is printing money. The orange line that now moves through the screen on the chart is the M2, or the monetary supply. This is the amount of liquid circulating supply in the monetary system based off what the Federal Reserve has printed. And as you can see here, in 2020, they all of a sudden printed $9 trillion and basically gave it away to the banks, to big company, a little bit to you to kind of tide you over so you don't complain too much. And it's gone straight into the markets. Because when they do that, and they've been doing that, you should recognize one key thing. The dollar is not worth anything. It is a hallucination, a psychosis that people are stuck in, believing that this worthless paper has a value because the US government says so. This has always been the case with any fiat currency. It is based off faith and nothing more. And that is a hallucination. So, because that hallucination is being held up like a Wile E. Coyote running over the cliff, and Wile E. Coyote has not looked down yet. He's not started to fall. As a matter of fact, Wile E. Coyote might make it a little further before he looks down, and my estimate on that is around 2 to 3 years of further before he looks down. Could be 2027. I actually suspect we'll see a reaccumulation trading range somewhere soon. Something like this. Probably not that big. It's a little too big in terms of year standpoint, but a reaccumulation trading range like this, and then bang, probably see even more growth in the S&P 500. And this is based solely off the printing of the US dollar, understanding that as they print the dollars, they become more and more worth less, and assets become more and more worth something. A fantastic book I've been reading, I would suggest if you're interested in reading other stories of history that these things have taken place, The Dying of Money is a great thesis. It goes over the history of different fiat currencies, their collapse, what kind of happens during the process, and the stock market just only going up is a key indicator of hyperinflation coming. Random overnight millionaires, also a key inflationary moment to keep an eye on. Oh, I didn't even, God damn it. There it is. I'm sorry. There's the chart. There's the orange line, the monetary supply. And there's the upstroke. I got to remember to click that button. Hey, Iris, I need your help. Come here. Iris, please come here. Anyways, hopefully that's not too much. I forgot to push a button. Anyways, the Bear family, you guys are freaking fantastic. I'm so all the people who are supportive of understanding how well I try to explain these things clearly, taking accountability and responsibility for the things that I am saying. Great way to go. So thank you for that. It's always a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun doing these. But yes, this orange line, the monetary supply, this is the printing of the US dollars. Here's that extra trillion. And bang, I do suspect that we'll see a reaccumulation trading range that maybe looks something like that. Yeah, that's it. That's basically how I feel. What time is it? 10:03. That was an hour. We got to drop in. We had a chat for an hour. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Late nights with Tiho in the bunker. Yeah, you guys are always a lot of fun. I'm going to take a look. Crypto Genius says you sold your stack of BTC at 60K. No, I didn't sell a stack. I sold enough money for the next 3 to 5 years. That ain't all I got. See, I don't like spending money on Lamborghinis or ridiculously nice things because I think it's, well, first off, I live in a third world country because I like it here. But I think it's, look, I've lived in $10 million homes. I've driven $100,000 sports cars. It never did anything for me. If you were to be like, you can have a Lambo or an ice bath, I'd take the ice bath. I don't give a shit about the car. Who gives a crap? It's just a frivolous material item. It means it's basically nothing. It's worthless in terms of like what's valuable in life. So for me, that's what I focus on. That's how I spend my time trying to increase the quality of life, not my material outlook. I did that already. I've lived in the $10 million homes in Hawaii with 6 bedrooms, fire outside of my infinity fire. It's not what I'm interested in. I like this simple kind of low-key life. It does me really well. It's served me well for a decade now. I have no need for that. So I did see I wasn't sharing the screen there. I've never told anyone to buy Elastos or Ontology. And Digibyte did like 1,000x since we. Some people are just so stupid. Oh man, I feel bad for you, Crypto Genius. You have a real problem in understanding. You have a real problem in understanding life. I feel very sorry for you. More than anything, I feel very sorry for you because I'm sure by your attitude, your life sucks. Awesome. You guys want me to leave you off with some music? I can do that. Love the interviews you do with the entrepreneurs in the crypto space. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nice. Camo says Bitcoin is the only asset outpacing inflation. Nice. Great show. I'm glad you guys all enjoyed it. The lake is cold and it's free. That's awesome, but I live in the jungle. If I was in a place where it was really cold, then it would be a sauna, and I would be so stoked that I just had a free ice lake. But I live in the jungle, so we got to go for the ice bath. I like flute more than guitar. I'm in the jungle, so I'm at the bunker right now. I'm not in the bear cave, so I do not have the flutes here with me. Thoughts on how to invest outside of fiat? Oh, definitely in your business, in yourself, and the things you enjoy and love doing. Awesome. Okay, we'll lead out with a little bit of guitar. There was a riff I was practicing tonight. I want to give a shout out to all of my long-term friends. I love you guys. I was playing some guitar with a good buddy of mine, Robert. He's probably going to listen to this later, probably tomorrow when he wakes up. But this is a guitar riff we were practicing. I had a lot of fun with it. Let's see. Thank you, Bear Family. It's always so much fun. I have such a pleasure with you guys. It's really awesome. Awesome. Stay with the Arcane Bear. Thank you guys all for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I want try to figure out how to be as open-minded about things as you go. One of the things I've been really trying to learn how to do lately is just enjoy life. So when you wake up in the morning, say thank you for whatever the day looks like. It's beautiful and sunny out, because that money cannot buy. Being grateful is a practice, and it brings the best of people into your life. And for the people that are not that, you just go block. Anyways, I've had a pleasure this evening with you guys. It was a lot of fun. These late night streams are fantastic. They're much more like a podcast. Oh yeah, I have a lot of fun chatting. So thank you all, Bear Family. And even though for those of you that I just removed your ability to comment from, that's fine. It just means we don't want to hear what you have to say. Anyways, we'll go with that. Bam.